The beautiful city of Leeds here in West Yorkshire, a city steeped in British Championship history. It plays host to the British Championship basketball playoff final, where history of its own kind will be made here this afternoon, as the Aldermore Reading Rockets and the Newcastle Knights will aim to become the first ever winners of the playoff crown. For Reading, a chance at the double, having captured the league crown in early April, and for Newcastle, an opportunity to claim some silverware deserving for this ball club, and for the season potentially finishing with 3 different winners. Warm afternoon to everyone here from Leeds Beckett Arena. John Hobbs alongside Ron Blaine of the City of Birmingham Rockets and Milton Keynes Breakers head coach Ben Stanley. Gentlemen, welcome. It's so high, it's so noisy inside the Leeds Beckett Arena. It's a very intimate atmosphere. It's great to be here for what is going to be a prestigious event, Ron. Obviously, falling so short in the semi-finals, but you are hyped to be here today to witness a game between the top 2 teams in the BCB.
Yeah, honestly, John, it's a great occasion. It's a great event. I'm super excited to see which team comes out on top this afternoon, but just looking forward to a great action. It's a great game.
And Ben, for you as well, 2 teams that have very contrasting styles. Reading, of course, have the best defence in the BCB against the best offence in the BCB. In the Newcastle Knights, should be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, John. It's going to we're going to really see who can stamp their kind of style onto the game. That's going to be the real turning point. Obviously, Newcastle play very quick, shoot a lot of threes. Reading much more methodical. Their games tend to be lower scoring, so it's going to be very interesting comparison and contrast between the 2 teams.
Starting 5s for the 2 teams. Jax Borknight, Yusuf Sally is starting for the Rockets, with Zane Porman, Victor Olorarian and Tyner Sangu. For the Newcastle Knights, it'll be Bradley Dean, Messiah Jones, Mackay Hendry, Rob Reed and MVP Jerron Thames. So very similar starting 5s to what we're used to with these 2 teams, but Yusuf Sally making a rare start for the Rockets. Usually comes off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's winner takes all, and I think Salmon is somebody that obviously knows that and has a keen mind for making adjustments. So obviously he sees Sally being a big part of what the Rockets have to do today to get a win, and looking forward to see how he performs, honestly, in this role. Something that I know he can do very well.
Our 3 officials for today's game: Ed Udansky, Matt Callender and Neil Wilkinson. It is raucous inside Leeds Beckett Arena as the top 2 of the BCB play out in the final game of the season. Reading Rockets in red, Newcastle in blue, as Mark Elderkin and Samit Nurizadeh, the 2 head coaches, exchange handshakes. Of course, Samit, very fond memories of this city. He was a former assistant coach at Leeds Carnegie, now of course, was then the Leeds Force. As we get set for tip-off. And Ben, what are you looking for in the first few minutes of this game?
I think the defensive coverages will be a big key. With Sally in, does Reading change what they do? Do they switch more with Porman to try and counter some of the offensive firepower of Newcastle? And who gets going early for Newcastle? If Jerron Thames gets going early, then it'll be a very interesting quarter.
Well, the last time these 2 teams met, Reading came away with a 112-71 victory. Absolutely ambushed Newcastle. Newcastle won the other league game just before Christmas. And we are underway here in Leeds, and the defensive player of the year, Zane Porman, on the ball, and rebounded by Thames.
And I love that early there. Rob Reed with a good defensive stop. on a hard cover with Zane Foreman looking for that post up.
Here is Jones, back to Dean. Hendry, for the shoot. Thames inside, doesn't get that to go, and it's rebounded by Foreman. Foreman now has a gap, and it's deflected out of bounds. It will stay with the Rockets. A lot of time on the shot clock.
One thing's for certain, John, honestly, I've been around the Newcastle camp for a lot of this week, just hearing the noise and the murmurs. They want to get off to a fast start in order to hopefully see themselves control this game.
Here is Foreman. Foreman drives to the basket.
Foreman's seen increased offensive production the last couple of weeks, so it'll be interesting to see how he factors into the offense as opposed to the defense.
The left-handed Messiah Jones for two.
And that's a good start there for Messiah.
As Olarerin was bumped, and he'll go to the line for a couple.
Yeah, sorry, as I was previously stating, that's a good start there for Messiah. It's a good sign to see him knocking down shots here early. But on the other end, the transition has to be in the back of Newcastle's minds, because somebody as fast and quick and explosive as Victor Olarerin can make you pay if you don't get back.
And Victor Olarerin, British Player of the Year, also in the BCB Team of the Year and British Team of the Year. An incredible season for him, averaging a shade under 19 points a game, but it's his fast attacking play that really is crucial to this Reading team.
Yeah, he's been that the entire season for this team. He's one of the best players, if not the best player on any given day. And he does all the little things as well on the defensive end that helps his team get wins.
Thames driving, hanging, doesn't get it to fall. And the Sangu picks up the loose change. Here is Sally as Reading reset. Borknight, a pull-up jumper. Falls into the hands of Jones. Jones to the basket inside. Thames is fouled. And a good early start from Newcastle here. Really attacking the basket and trying to get Reading in early foul trouble.
Yeah, absolutely, John. And also more aggressive defensively than we're used to seeing them. A lot of aggressive hedge, almost trapping the ball screen. It'll be interesting to see if they continue that throughout the game, or if Coach Elderton's going to switch up as we go through.
Well, Newcastle have the best offense in the BCB, but they have the second leakiest defense as well. They average 98 points per game, but they also concede 94 points a game. Only the Bristol Flyers concede more than the Knights, as Thames makes both of his free throws.
Yeah, if it's one thing about Newcastle, John, and Ben as well, if it's one thing about Newcastle that we all know is they want to get points in a hurry. Defense isn't really their forte. They like to put points up.
Olarerin misses the three. Ball is loose. Sally gets some space. Doesn't get that to fall.
Yeah, and going back to what Ron said, I've been on the receiving end of a 27-point run from them at the start of the season, where we were up by 27 and then lost in double overtime. So these guys can really put points on the board in a hurry when they need to.
Here is Thames. Inside to Reed. There is Jones. Shot clock winding down for Messiah Jones. Back irons his long two. And it's rebounded by Hendry. There is Dean, and it's a block and foul. Newcastle will go to the line.
Yeah, and I love the energy right now from Newcastle. Honestly, they're moving the ball well. They're hustling. They're getting offensive rebounds. And they're just keeping the play alive. Is exactly what they need to do in order to stay in this contest.
Yeah, absolutely, Ron. I think we should put a little spotlight on Reed and Hendry, as they were the unsung heroes of the semi-final, both knocking down 3 threes each. Hendry had a massive offensive rebound.
Thanks for the reminder, Ben. I thought I forgot.
You're welcome.
It's only just now I realise that I am with the two losing semi-finalists. My apologies though, folks.
I didn't realize I lost, guys.
As Messiah Jones makes the second foul shot. Here is Borman. Olarerin looking for help. Lovely pass inside. And the punch from the Sangu.
And all this talk about Newcastle, Reading is just doing what Reading does. They play their system. They play their style of play. What a fantastic finish there by Ty Sangu.
Ty Sangu with his first field goal of the final. And a whistle has gone as Bradley Dean was looking to break clear. Six to 5 in favour of the Rockets with 6:37 to play in the first period. That's already a second foul as well on St. Portman. Here is Dean. Dean left wide open a three, no good. And it's rebounded by Borknight, and Reading can now push. Borknight, the extra pass, Olarerin attacking, can't get the drop.
And although he missed that shot, I love that aggressive take there by Victor Olarerin. Obviously reading the defense really well, just came out with an unfortunate miss.
Thames, open three is no good from Reed, and away come the Rockets. Borknight, he'll step into a three, that's in and out, and Dean collects. Both teams now are combined 0 of 3 to start. There is Dean to the basket.
And I love that take there by Bradley Dean. The screen was set, played through the contact, easy finish.
As Olarerin slides to the basket.
Wow, what a finish there by Vic. Bringing the energy for the Rockets.
And Vic is so good at finding those rejections out of that system to get those baseline drives.
Thames under the basket, and a whistle has gone. Coming up to halfway through the first period, as Malik Bryant will check in for the Rockets, and Zane Borman on 2 fouls will check out.
Yeah, and that's a big moment in the first quarter, John. You have your defensive player of the year who's been assigned to Jaron Thomas, picked up his first, been switched off in order to protect him, and now he's on his second foul and out.
Absolutely incredible atmosphere here inside Leeds Beckett Arena. Lovely move to the basket by Sam Trunley into the game for the first time.
It's some magic with Sam Trunley. It's something about this guy, Jordan, man. Honestly, he's a joy to watch. He's not really fun to play against if you want to ask me personally. But what a joy, what a fantastic finish there by him to get his first points of the game.
Olarerin, corner pocket three, nails it. Victor Olarerin with 2 quick field goals, and the Rockets have an 11-9 lead. As at the other end, Trunley can't respond. Here is Olarerin, and Bryant will reset.
That's great defense there by Newcastle in transition. They're being able to get back.
Borknight out of control. Here is Nisangu. Pass is deflected. There is Olarerin. Olarerin can't get that to fall. And away come the Knights. Here is Thames. Dean steps into a three. And it's rebounded by Nisangu.
And a couple early misses there by Newcastle, but this is the type of game that they want to play. They want to get up and down. They want to play fast.
I'm wondering also, gents, we're seeing Reading with a 4-guard lineup on the floor. It's unusual for a team that relies on their forwards to create their offensive advantage. Maybe Cooper Creek is still injured after last week's semi-final. Maybe he's on a minutes restriction. as they bring Chamberlain now and go to a more traditional lineup for them.
As Simon Chamberlain comes into the game for the first time, the league leader in three-point shooting.
Is he?
And Yusuf Salih comes out, yeah. Trunley a three. Trunley connects from downtown.
And what a big shot there by Sam Trunley. Honestly, if you guys have not been tuned in to Sam Trunley this entire season, today is where you want to pay attention. He steps up in big moments, and no moment is he shying.
Had 5 3-pointers when these teams met on Tyneside just before Christmas. 21 points in that game. And gets his first triple to fall. Here is Borknight. Shot clock at 7. Chamberlain a three. And that's off the back iron. Tipped by Bryant. Reclaimed by Olarerin. And Victor Olarerin will go for a couple.
Another factor to this game, Reading led the league in offensive rebounds this season. And that's going to be a massive impact against a team that doesn't have a traditional big on their roster. Even Will Neighbour, not a traditional big, more of a floor spacer. So be a real impact in terms of how can Olarerin and the forwards go to the glass, Bryant, and get rebounds for Reading.
When you talk about offensive rebounds, these are actually the top 2 teams in the BCB for offensive rebounds. So it'll be a very interesting battle under the glass here this afternoon as Olarerin makes the first. Olarerin lands the second. Here is Thames. Dean hanging with it. Ball is loose. Bryant has it. And here is Olarerin in the open floor. Olarerin to the cup.
And Victor Olarerin is having a day right now. He's doing a fantastic job. As you see Salmon about to lose his mind.
Yes,
as Simon Chamberlain leaving him open. He was not happy with that. But that just shows you so much is at stake right now. Every possession matters for both of these teams.
And just as you were saying that, our referee Neil Wilkinson just having a quiet word with Samit Mirazadeh. As we'll have substitutions coming in for the Knights. As Theo Riley checks into the game for the first time. And Rob Reed takes a breather.
And I don't know about you, John, but I'm getting flashbacks of last season, playoff final for NBL, and I'm seeing Victor Olarerin go off like this. He did the same thing in the first quarter last year against Milton Keynes.
Dean, a three. And right now, Newcastle just 2 of 7, but getting into their rhythm from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and so much firepower on the court right now. So many guys that can make three-point shots. Victor knocks down another one.
Victor Olarerin with the perfect response. Here is Thames. As Jones hangs, doesn't get it to fall. Under 2 minutes now to play in the first period. 17 to 15 in favour of the Rockets. Chamberlain loses the handle, ball is loose, and Messiah Jones comes up with it. Trunley steps into a three, that's off the back iron and rebounded Olarerin.
And this right here is what Reading wants to do. They want to get into the half court and make this as a half court game, as much as a half court game as they possibly can.
Chamberlain from the top, in and out. And here is Dean. Thames breaks free and a foul. Jerome Thames with his first field goal, and he'll go to the line for a three-point play, and that is how Jerome Thames likes to play his basketball, right downhill and attacking the basket.
Yeah, and one of the most creative shot makers, if not the most creative in the league. And one-on-one with a head of steam, there are very few, if anybody, in the league that's going to be able to stay in front of him. And it's interesting because we're seeing Thames and Olarerin go head-to-head in the full court, not in terms of matchup, but in terms of the shots that are created by both of them in transition.
Well, Jerome Thames, who, of course, BCB Player of the Year, and I'm the only player in the BCB that actually logged over 1,000 minutes this season, and I'll give you guys a quiz as to who is second in just a minute, as Olarerin lines up at 3 and misses it, and here is Brian. Brian on the spin scores.
You talk about minutes logged, John. At one point in the season, Bradley Dean was averaging more than 40 minutes per game because Newcastle had so many periods of overtime, which I'd never seen before.
Here is Trunley. Trunley bumps his man, gets it to go and one. Sam Trunley getting the friendly bounce.
If anybody knows about that head fake, just go watch the tape from last week, because holy, Ron Blair couldn't stay off his feet. What a move by Sam Trunley. Impressive. It's so hard because he's so deceptive with how he makes his movements. A big-time shot and a big-time player.
Well, just so you're aware, the person who came second in players in minutes logged per season was the guy sitting next to me.
Oh, Lee, I thought you were trolling.
Ron, no.
Well, I'm honored.
But not 1,000 minutes. Part-timer.
That's a cool stat.
As Olarerin steps out of bounds, and Newcastle will get the ball back with 30 seconds left in the first period.
I'll tell you what, my body's tired. My legs are tired from all those minutes, John. So thanks for that stat.
1,079 minutes Jerome Thames has logged before today.
Who's third?
Oh, I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far. As we just have a brief break in play. 30 seconds to go in the first period. Newcastle Knights have a 21-19 lead. But overall, it's been a fairly consistent first quarter, hasn't it? Both teams feeling each other out. There's been a few cold spots, but both teams, you sense, just getting into the groove of this contest, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we've seen Trunley and Olarerin kind of going back and forth a little bit right now in terms of leading scorers. But I also think, tough pull up from Bonite, there's an adjustment period in any final, and there's an adjustment period in playing in a neutral venue. So we saw a lot of shots missed early on that we might expect those guys to make, and we're still at a 20-point quarter. So I think going on, it could be high scoring, which could favour Newcastle.
Final seconds of the first period. Here is Thames. Thames over Creek, no good. Seconds are winding down, and that'll do it. And even if that went in, that wouldn't have counted, and we're back to where we started. We're tied up at 21 apiece at the end of the first quarter. As you were mentioning earlier on, Victor Olarerin leading all scorers with 13 points, chuck in 4 rebounds for good measure. And Jerome Thames and Bradley Dean, they each have 5 points, but leading the way off the bench, Sam Trunley with 8.
I mean, what an exceptional game Sam Trunley has played in this first quarter. But I'll say this, and I have a question after I say this. This pace right now is exactly what Newcastle wants. They want an up-and-down game. And again, they have put their defensive hat on a little bit in this first quarter, only holding Reading to 21 points. One thing that we can't forget is that the last time these two teams met, Reading put a beat down on Newcastle. And it's something that Newcastle took to heart, and they went and they talked about it, went through the film, did what they needed to do, and they come out in this first quarter a lot differently than they did the last time at Loddon Valley. Did I say that correctly?
Was, yeah. Well, Reading shot 60% from the field in that game, 17 3-pointers. Head coach Mark Elderkin was telling me that was the worst game he's ever coached, but he wanted to use it as motivation, like you said, as did the players. And today, obviously, they get their opportunity to really get that revenge, avenge that defeat. And right now, 21 apiece to end the first period. It's a good start, but obviously a lot of basketball to be played.
Yeah, absolutely. And those games that you guys are talking about, Ron and I had a conversation about various matches before the game started. Those are turning points. Like, if you have a big win, a 1-point win against a tight opposition, or you run down the guys that you're competing with, I thought that weekend for Reading, as I said to Ron earlier, they beat Newcastle and then they beat Birmingham. They absolutely, mauled Newcastle in that Saturday game. And that was very much a springboard for them into the second half or the back end of the season that allowed them to go and win the championship.
It absolutely, yeah, it defined their championship season, didn't it? No doubt about it. As we start the second period, here is Trunley, who leads the way with 8. Dean goes for 3, and Nasangu the rebound. And a foul called on Dean, and that'll be his first foul. So foul number 1 for Bradley Dean in this one. Early doors in the second period. Bradley Dean third in the league in three-point percentage at 43%, but just 1 of 4 to start.
Good to see Cooper Creek back on the floor, obviously missing last week. He's a big impact on this team and does a fantastic job.
As Borknight gets the mid-range to fall, here is Trunley.
And I like this matchup of the number 10s between Malik Bryant and Sam Trunley.
Jones over Nasangu, long, rebounded though, and collected by the Knights. Here is Dean. Dean finds a gap, blocked by Creek. Ball goes out of bounds, it will stay with the Knights.
And Cooper Creek, not a rim protector as such, but he's had some big blocks during the course of the season. Made some big plays. Him and Nasangu on together gives a lot of size, and Creek's shooting ability allows Reading some options as well at the same time.
8 to shoot for Newcastle. Here is Trunley, the turnaround jumper, long. And on the follow, there is Jones.
And I was going to say, just to piggyback off what Ben just stated, Cooper Creek with the biggest mark of the year to secure the league title for Reading down at Derby. A huge play. But we have to love the activity at Newcastle right now. They're making this game ugly. They're fighting, and they're keeping themselves in the ball game. And it's one team that you do not want to play around with, as been already stated. That 28-point comeback we like to forget about, but we're still here.
Here is Oloraren, shot clock in single figures. Turnaround jumper, no good. And Nasangu under the basket on the follow.
I do think we're seeing a slightly different version of Newcastle defensive end. This is probably the most cohesive and aggressive I've seen them all season defensively.
Thames being marked by Oloraren. Thames driving, can't get it to fall, ball is loose. Creek just about collects.
What a defensive possession there for Reading.
As Nasangu was looking for the highlight dunk, but
I thought that went in.
Oloraren just about keeps it in and puts it down.
Not the typical highlight we're looking for, but another basket for Victor. And he's having himself a day as he's clapping it up. I love it. I love the energy.
15 points for Victor Oloraren. As Riley has it. Inside to Thames, lovely dump off, and the finish from Messiah Jones. Beautiful play by the Knights.
A beautiful action and just an unselfish basketball team right now. They're playing so well together. They're gelling. But a lot of games to be played. Creek for 3.
Creek puts in a 3.
I think we said it at the same time, John. I thought I was the lead for a second.
30-25 in favour of Reading, and a steal. It's 2-on-1. Here is Oloraren to the basket, no good. Jerron Thames stands his ground, and now Newcastle have the numbers. Dean a 3, no. Rebounded Creek.
Reading dodged one there. That would have been a huge swing to give up the 2 in transition, and then a Bradley Dean 3.
Borknight finds Nsangu under the basket, and a foul by Dean. And that'll be Bradley Dean's second foul, and Ty Nsangu will head to the stripe.
And especially with Portman on 2 fouls, this could be a point in the game when Nsangu needs to step up. There's a lot of switching going on from Newcastle that affords him advantages on the roll. The likes of Bradley Dean are not going to be, and even Trunley, although Trunley is very strong, are not going to be able to compete with Nsangu's height on the roll at the rim. So can they make a point of trying to find Nsangu, and to a lesser extent Cooper Creek on the roll, create advantages out of that?
So a timeout has been called with 6:24 to play here in the second period, and a chance really as well for us to get our breath back as well. It's been a furious first 13 and a half minutes, but Reading have a 5-point lead. But it's been a really exciting and open contest, hasn't it?
I definitely agree, and I think, again, this pace is very Newcastle-ish. I hate that I have to keep saying it, but Reading has done a good job of being able to just do what they do and stick to their script. And their script has worked all season long, and I don't see it changing any differently unless Newcastle makes some adjustments.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing right now, Newcastle only shooting 33% from the floor, but it's a 5-point game. You're making a third of your shots, but you're in a 5-point game, you feel confident, especially with the weapons that Newcastle have. That being said, we saw a similar thing in terms of shooting percentage in the league when Reading went and put that big win on Newcastle.
As Ty Nsangu will go to the line for the Rockets. Everything is pretty much similar when you look at the stats at the moment. Both teams are shooting at, you've got Reading at 44%, Newcastle at 33%. That's the only real difference. Everything else is almost the same as you look at it, as Nsangu misses the first.
And I must say, even though that is Bradley Dean's second foul, Ty Nsangu isn't the best free throw shooter, so it might not have been a bad foul in that scenario.
Shooting around 59% for the season. This is from both. And here is Taines. There is Messiah Jones. Bradley Dean fakes Fortnite and knocks down the three.
And that's what he does. All it takes is one to go down, and the floodgates might get open here for Newcastle with Bradley Dean knocking down his first three of the game.
Here is Bryant. Finds Fortnite. Fortnite drives inside. Little midi is no good. Rebounding Nsangu under the basket.
And I spoke to Mark all week about this. Ty Nsangu is one of those difference makers for Reading Rockets. He can get down and rebound with the best of them, if not the best in the league. Shout out Luke, he might be the best. But he does a really good job. But here's Bradley Dean's second three.
And he hits another one. Back-to-back triples for Bradley Dean. And it's a 1-point game. 32-31. 5:13 to play in the half. Fortnite. 9 on the shot clock. Fortnite wide open, a three.
Yeah, huge shot there from Fortnite. And tough take from Sam Trunley, good hand.
Bradley Dean was going to the basket there. It was deflected out of bounds.
I think if you look at the last two Bradley Dean makes, Jerron Thomas is struggling a little bit to get involved in the half-court offense right now. Thames, sorry, thank you. He's struggling a little bit, but he's then done a great job of adjusting and realizing that the attention is on him and he can create shots for his teammates.
Ball is loose, just about kept in. Here is Jones. Dean, 3 to shoot for Newcastle. Trunley a 3, no.
And that's a great defensive possession there by Reading. Grinding that whole possession out, coming away with that stop.
Best defense in the league at 70. Well, they concede 75 points a game. Here is Nsangu to Borknight. 9 to shoot. Borknight driving, kicks it out. There is Bryant, there is Sally, and a double dribble.
And I must say this now, the defensive intensity right now for Newcastle is probably one of the best I've seen of them all season. They are focused, they are dialed in, they know the scout, and they're doing a fantastic job of executing that right now. And I also want to add how Reading did win the league, but this is Reading's first time in this type of big game. This is Newcastle's second with the Bucks title, and a lot of these guys are on that Bucks team, so it might favor them in the long haul.
Here is Jones. Trunley inside. There is Thames, and he puts it in. Timeout, Reading with 3:41 to play, and it's a 2-point game.
And that's something else that Jerome Thames gives you. Yes, he's great with the ball in his hand, but he's a very effective cutter, finishes really well at the rim, catches well, finishes up well, and that makes him much, much more difficult to guard. And if he can get more involved in this game, either creating or finishing, it's going to be a really tough second half for Reading.
And just to piggyback off that, Jerron is somebody that obviously he's the MVP of the league. He's one of the best players, or he is the best player in the league as of this season. But I love that he's not forcing it. He's letting the game come to him right now and taking the shots that the defense is giving him. He knows his team. He knows how well these guys play together, and he's sharing the ball tremendously.
Victor Oloraren leading the way with 15 points. 2 of those have only come in the second quarter, 13 in the first. As Bradley Dean leads the way with 11, 3:41 to play in the first half here in the BCB playoff final. A really raucous crowd here in Leeds this afternoon. It's really great to see this venue, virtually packed out. Lots of Reading fans have made the trip here, and there's a lot of Newcastle fans here in attendance as well. The majority of the horns are coming from the Knights fans, making this atmosphere really, really intense.
It's so good to see. Obviously, being a former Newcastle guy myself, I played in a couple finals with these guys, and we did not have the fan base that they have here tonight. And it's so just encouraging to see that this program is growing and moving and fantastic, just moving in a great way.
Bryant is fouled, and it will stay a Reading possession. 3:24 to go in the first half. And an interesting thing as well, Ben, is 3 team fouls for Newcastle. Very disciplined Reading at the moment, yet to commit a foul in this second period.
Yeah, normally if you have a team 8 minutes or 7 minutes into a quarter who hasn't fouled, you would say the refs aren't doing their job. But actually, I think the refs have done a very good job of it. Part of that quality is that Newcastle has taken a lot of threes in the quarter, not a lot of attacking. So the key is Thames goes in there.
Here is Borknight. Game is tied now at 35. Creek, catch and shoot 3, money.
And that shoulder looks fine. Also, shout out Mr. Creek. I heard your broadcast back in whenever we played you guys, and you're a great guy. I appreciate you. But Cooper Creek from 3, shout out Cooper Creek and his dad all the way from Australia.
Messiah Jones, Bradley, Sam Trunley a 3. Sam Trunley with his 3rd 3-pointer. Here is Borknight. Creek. Bryant hangs and scores.
I believe Bryant is a little reticent to shoot it, but he can really get to the cup and finish.
Thames. Riley back to Thames. Elbow jumper is blocked by Creek. Ball is loose. And bodies on the floor. Cooper Creek on the deck, and Messiah Jones almost on the top of him. As we come up to under 2 minutes to play in the first half.
And again, diving on the floor, 50-50 balls. Every single possession right now matters for both of these teams, and I love the intensity out there. But it's all about closing quarters, as both of you guys know. It's 1:54 on the clock, and I'm sure both coaches are alluding to their guys right now. We want to close this quarter out the best way possible and go into the half with some momentum.
1:54 to play in the first half. A really entertaining first half. The top two teams in the BCB contesting the BCB playoff final as Jones connects from downtown. And looking right at Ron Blaine as he was hitting it.
Don't get me out my seat. You see me home last week, you know, but I love it, I love it, I love it.
Olorarian to respond.
Oh, it's a party in here.
Jerron Thames can't connect. Olorarian the rebound. Ball is loose. Jones comes up with it. Here is Dean. Trunley driving, finds Riley, too strong, rebounded Bryant. Here is Malik Bryant. And Bork Knight slows it down. Samet Nurizadeh barking instructions. There is Olorarian, no. Trunley nearly travelled with it. Here is Dean. And Dean is fouled.
Smart foul from Victor Olorarian there just to try and stop the fast break and stop the momentum.
I completely agree. I think Samet is probably the best coach at that. I know he's probably the only team I've played against this season where they emphasize the take foul. But the one thing to keep your head on or hat on is if that take foul could become an issue as this game gets closer, because you don't want to waste fouls in a game like this of this magnitude. You want your best players on the floor, so you got to be pretty cautious with that.
46.7 seconds to go, and it's a timeout on the floor. Right now, Victor Olorarian leading the way with 18 for the Rockets.
18, wow.
11 points each for Bradley Dean and Sam Trunley. Jerron Thames right now, 9 points, 5 rebounds for the Knights, who are shooting at 45%. Their field goal percentage has gone up, but Reading's has kind of stayed at around the low 40s pretty much throughout this contest.
Yeah, and one thing about the stats that stands out to me is it's a little bit more balance. It's a little bit more balance between the Newcastle scoring right now, and Victor Olorarian is carrying the load right now for the Reading Rockets. But again, it's the first half. A lot of game to be played, and these guys are just now getting settled in. So, interesting to see. It will be interesting to see how these guys perform on the back end of this quarter and the rest of the game.
Here is Thames. Laquan sails into the game for the first time for Reading and straight away commits his first foul.
And Sales has been brought in to do exactly what he did there, put a huge amount of pressure on Thames, and if he picks up a foul, he picks up a foul. And you might well see the same with Reading still with a foul to give. You might well see the same thing right here.
Here is Thames, again sails all over him. Trunley, shot clock at 7, Trunley puts it free! Sam Trunley from downtown, and a timeout called by Samet Nurizadeh. Sam Trunley though, a human firework right now. You're speechless, Ron.
There hasn't been a team in the league that hasn't been on the receiving end of a play like that from Sam Trunley this season, which speaks to just how good he is offensively, especially with the clock winding down. And I know, well, Ron alluded to the teams gelling earlier. I know in Newcastle, every player on that team understands that Jones, Thames, Dean have the ball, but in that last 6 seconds, Sam Trundley gets that basket.
That's a great point. Sorry, I was speechless. I had to catch my breath. I had to catch my words. Honestly, listen, watching him is special. He's a special talent, and he's fun to watch. He looks like he's fun to play with as well. That move there sums up Sam Trundley to a T. You think you got him, you think everything's dead off to the world, and Sam Trundley comes away with a fantastic bucket to give Newcastle a 1-point lead with 30.6. I'm telling you, the closer this game gets, it's favoring the opposition right now because they thrive in these moments.
30.6 seconds to play here in the first half. Here is Borknight. Borknight hits the deck, ball is loose, the Sangu helps him. Oloraren to the basket, finds Creek. And they'll slow it down. 7 to shoot. Borknight attacking and scoring. And I think Newcastle are going to have to reset as Laquan Sales will come back in for Borknight.
Yeah, it's a bit of offensive defense there, and you're going to see that take foul that we just talked about from likely Sales right now.
7.5 to go in the first half. Yusuf Salih will also come in just a moment for Reading, and he'll check in for Victor Oloraren.
Just to protect Victor Oloraren, make sure he doesn't pick up another foul in this last 7.5 seconds.
Final seconds of the second period. Matthews.
Chamberlain was trying to change the foul there.
No. And that'll do it for the end of the first half. 45 to 44 in favour of the Reading Rockets. All to play for, though, going into the second half.
Yeah, well, a tremendous first half. I mean, we're basically level. We were level after the first quarter. It's a 1-point lead for Reading, who did a good job of closing out that quarter. But both of you guys, we're in for a tremendous second half.
Yeah, it very much feels like a final right now. The back and forth, big shot after big shot, big defensive play after defensive play. It feels like a final, and this one may well go right down to the wire.
So it is half-time here at Leeds Beckett Arena, leading the way for the Reading Rockets. Victor Oloraren has 18 points on 6 of 14 shooting. 3 3-pointers in that role as well. 14 points for Sam Trundley. A great second quarter. All 3 of his triples coming in that second quarter. But it is all to play for, as Ron said. 45 to 44 at the half. Reading on top. Join us for the third and fourth quarter here on the BCB YouTube channel in around 12 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere.
I'll do the 10 count now. This is mic 1 testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is mic 2 testing. Mic 2 testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
to my coach myself about the pace of this game, and I think the scoring favors Reading, but the closeness of the game favors Newcastle. The closeness of the game favors Newcastle. So either way you look, we're in for an interesting second half.
As we get set to start the third period here in Leeds. To 44 in favour of the Aldermore Reading Rockets. And we spoke about Newcastle, Ben, but for Reading, they've had their spurts, haven't they? But for the third quarter, what might need to be altered to try and race away from Newcastle?
I think it's whether they can string together a couple of possessions in a row at both ends of the floor. Can they get scores and stops? And I think that'll be the big difference maker.
As we start the third period here in Leeds, here is Borknight. Nasangu. Olarerin. 9 to shoot for Borknight. Looks for Nasangu, just about finds him. Can't get that friendly drop. Ball is loose, and Newcastle come up with it. And it's stolen away again by Borknight. Olarerin is open on the other side. And there is Nasangu under the basket.
And that's a great start there by Reading. Coming out, the hustle play by Malik Bryant that won't be shown. Getting back in transition, which leads to an easy layup there by Ty Asangu. Great pass from Cougar Creek.
3 is up, no good from Reed. Here is Olarerin. Finds Creek. Olarerin has it. Marked by Hendry, goes to the glass, and Victor Olarerin will go to the line for a couple.
Yeah, and you can see that Olarerin liked that matchup on Hendry. Felt like he could attack it. Went the first time, didn't get anything, got it back and went straight at him the second time.
Love the take there by Vic. Also, just to piggyback off that, his ability to just read the gaps and read the different spaces, and he's so quick and electric that he can get there in a hurry. And is rewarded right now with a trip to the free throw line.
Of course, the BCB playoff final, loads of people here in attendance. Obviously a near full house inside the Leeds Beckett Arena, and of course coaches and players from around the league, not just Ron and Ben, but also head coach Charles Smith here in attendance. As is former Yorkshire Dragons player Ricky Fetsky, who's also here in attendance watching on. Great to see him enjoying the BCB playoff final. Of course, Ricky Fetsky, a dangerous player back in his playing days.
Yeah, he's a former teammate of mine, and even better, a great human being. But alongside him, you got Richard Stokes here, you got Michael Savory Richards. Hold on, let's hold our horses. Here come the Rockets.
Oh, there's Bryant, gets the steal and the finish. And that's enough for Mark Elderkin to call the timeout. And Reading have raced away to a 7-point lead early doors.
Yeah, and their energy is fueling from the defensive end. As Salmon takes himself a moment to just compose himself before he comes and talks to his team. You got to tip your hat to them coming out the gate right now in this second half.
And for Newcastle, Ben, we spoke about getting out to a fast start, but right now Reading have done just that, and Newcastle seems to be stuck on neutral for just these first few minutes.
Yeah, and you see some interesting adjustments, right? Pullman stays on the bench. Reading go with 3 guards and Creek at the 4 as opposed to Pullman, and then a very quick substitution by Newcastle, minute and a half in, to get Trunley back in, whereas he normally sits the first 3 minutes or so in order to try and counteract but the energy of Olarerin and Bryant together is what's creating these opportunities in transition right now for Reading.
As you hear the raucous roar of the Reading Rockets fans that have made the trip here today from Berkshire, as Newcastle look to find their groove here in the final. Thames. There is Trunley. Trunley long with his three, rebounded Olarerin.
And then
here is Borknight. Creek wide open a three.
And Reading is having their way right now in the second half. This is their style of game. They love to get stops, and their defense is fueling the offense.
Trunley driving at Creek and kicks it out. There is Dean at the top. Off to the right, and a rebound and a hard foul, inadvertent hit on the face. And that'll be the first team foul for the Rockets.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a bad foul there. I mean, obviously it wasn't purposeful. Just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time there for Malik Bryant, but what a lovely player he is. I know his mom's watching. I tune into a lot of games, so I see the comments, and I hope she's doing well and proud of her son. He's had a fantastic year.
Trunley gets it to go and one. And having been down double digits early in the second quarter, Sam Trunley gets the bump and will go to the line for a bonus.
Yeah, looked completely dead in the water there and just pulled out the step back and elevated over to draw the foul. I mean, this kid makes shots. He really does make shots.
Fun thing, fun fact, I talked to Sam at halftime. Well, I didn't really talk to him. I just walked past him, and he asked me a question. He said, "Did you like that last shot I did before the half?" I didn't even comment. I just said I was speechless. I'm still speechless. But this is a guy that, again, he will put the team on his back if required. And you see him as he's literally talking to Boat Night right now. This guy is special, and he's a joy to watch.
And he moves on to 16 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Make that 17 points. And the deficit has been cut to 7. Borknight. Olarerin. Bryant. Here is Borknight. Borknight driving, had a hand in his face, and I think that'll be a defensive foul. He'll go to the line for a couple. And Jax Borknight, a really solid player all season. 48% from the field, 43% from downtown, and he'll go to the line for a couple.
Yeah, and Jax Borknight is a special player. I love his game, and I love that no matter what happens for Reading, he's pretty much been like the calming presence on the floor. Whether he's playing good or whether he's not playing good, he still just calms them and keeps them under control. And he's honestly just a joy to watch, and that's a great free throw by them, and they're up 9 now.
That's 72% from the field when Reading beat Newcastle at Loddon Valley back in March. Here is Hendry. Hendry drives at Creek and puts it in.
Was that an inverted finish?
Henry's done a great job of making big plays throughout the season. Flying around here,
Borknight misses the three. Here is Bryant. Pace is so electric right now. Olarerin a three. Splash! Victor Olarerin from downtown, and it's back to a 10-point lead. Here is Trunley, gets bumped, and he'll go to the line for a couple. And what's good is Reading, who got that 10-point lead off that three, and then right away, Newcastle attacking with purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Just flying down the court, trying to get a good shot in return. Trunley took a hard hit there from the Sangu, but looks like he's okay. But that's what Newcastle will have to do. It's how they play. Every time the ball goes through the hoop at their end, they're straight back at you at the other end. And if they can generate some shots like that, it'll bring them back into it. We know from bitter experience, Ron, that being up against Newcastle guarantees you absolutely nothing.
Sam Trunley at the line for the Knights, makes the first. Right now you can see the physicality of this game as well, sort of picking up. It was a very open first 20 minutes, wasn't it? Now the physicality and the intensity is starting to ramp up.
Yeah, it definitely is. Obviously, that was the point of emphasis at Sam Trunley's.
With the steal, and good defense from Knight. That'll be a goaltend. And this is a good spell, good spurt here from the Knights. Back-to-back scores.
And if it's one thing about Newcastle that myself, Coach Stanley to my right, and you as well, John, as Sam just gives me a little weak. If it's one thing we know about Newcastle, is that they don't fold when they go down a certain amount of points. These guys will continue to grind it out.
Bryant short. O'Leary keeps it in, but Creek can't finish. And now all alone is Jerome Tamesley, blows the layup, and Sam Trunley is there to help him out.
And Sam Trunley says, I'll gladly take that. Easy 2 points of the day, easiest 2 points of the day for him.
Here is Borknight. Pass is deflected, O'Leary keeps it. 8 to shoot. O'Leary a step back three, short, but he gets his own rebounds. Top 2 teams in offensive rebounds this season. Going at it. Here is Bryant. There is Creek, a three. The basket as the Sangu hits the deck. And we have a Newcastle player on the floor as well.
It's on time.
And a foul called on the Sangu. That'll be his second foul. And Zane Borman comes in, and that just illustrates the physicality that we're seeing in this third quarter, and the defensive player of the year is coming onto the floor.
Yeah, and one of the other things we're seeing, you have Trunley and Victor O'Leary, our 2 leading scorers, who are flying around the court. Trunley full court to get a fast break rebound. O'Leary picks up 2 rebounds, saves 1 out of bounds. Like, this is the level of energy and effort that you have to have even as a leading player on a team.
Messiah Jones way off with the 3 off right, and Zane Portman will let that ball goes out of bounds, and the Knights will, or the Rockets will get it.
Interesting. I have a thought here. I'm curious to hear Ben's perspective. Ben, Portman has been out with 3 fouls. Do you think that Coach Salmon is this a curiosity?
We'll come back to that in just a second as Thames has it, but hounded by 2 Reading players. Ball goes out of bounds.
Out of curiosity, do you think that Coach Salmon left Borman out for too long? Just for our fans watching at home?
That is a very good question, Ron. I think with somebody else, maybe. I think Zane is so professional and so measured in his approach. I don't think it'll have a big impact on him. But I could be wrong as Nelson goes strong to the win. I'll go.
We can barely hear ourselves talk at the moment as Samit Nurizade calls a timeout. It's a 2-point game with 4:41 remaining. The Rockets hanging on to their slender lead, but here comes the Newcastle Knights, and a good timeout by Samit Nurizade.
Yeah, absolutely, very timely timeout. Ron, I've got a question for you in return. We talk a lot about Trunley, Dean and Thames on that Newcastle team. Messiah Jones has been a little bit of the unsung hero, averages 12.5 and I think 8.5 rebounds for the season, and just does a lot of things very quietly for that team. How important is he to that Newcastle group?
Right back at you, Ben. That's a fantastic question. And I think he's so valuable to that group. They like to play through him. And I don't think putting the ball in his hands with Ty around him, daring him to shoot, is not something that he's not accustomed to. Again, Newcastle and Mark have a very interesting strategy with playing through Messiah Jones. He's almost like a Swiss Army knife for them, and he does all the little things well, like you said. And I think today, in order to win this game, he's going to have to continue to play at this level.
4:41 to play here in the third period. It's a 2-point game, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Fortnite. Horman. Fortnite gets it back. A lot of time on the shot clock. Horman. Fortnite. Fortnite a three. No. Rebounded Dean. Here is James. Hendry knocks it down. Mackay Hendry from downtown, and the Knights have the lead.
And what a shot there by Mackay, former Barking Abbey product. He makes his presence known each and every game with the minutes he gets. And what a big-time shot there to get the lead for Newcastle.
Fortnite. Masangu just about collects. Bumbles his way to the basket, and the Rockets have the lead back.
Yeah, big time play by Masangu. He's had a big impact offensively this game. Just such a big target for Newcastle to contend with off the roll, especially with how aggressive they are right now defensively.
Masangu now moves on to 10 points, give him 7 rebounds as well. Messiah Jones throws it out of bounds.
And a bad turnover there by Messiah Jones, but you're not mad if you're Mark right there. You appreciate the effort. Just unfortunate miscommunication. But Reading have a chance here to extend their lead a little bit.
Horman backing down Trundley. Zane Borman turnaround jumper misses everything.
And what fantastic defense there. We talk about Sam Trundley on offense, but defensively, being able to stop somebody like Zane Borman is not an easy task. He's had his way in the past.
And I think, Ron, tactically very well played by Newcastle. They know that Pullman post-up is often to get other people involved. Zane's a very underrated passer. So they're staying home, they're playing Pullman one-on-one, daring him to go and make the finish.
Jerron Thames, I don't think that free throw will count. They're going to redo that. So Jerron Thames going to the line for a couple, and guy who had 36 points in the quarter-final win over the Yorkshire Dragons, and certainly earned his BCB Player of the Year award. And as you said very earlier on, Ron, they've already got one title this year, Newcastle University winning the Butch Crown, and Jerron Thames was the MVP in that with 28 points and 12 rebounds. As he hits them both.
Again, Jerron has been so consistent over the course of this season. I said it yesterday under his post. It was so well-deserved for him to get an MVP, to be that consistent throughout 9-10 months. I don't think people understand how hard it is, but well-deserved to him. But I know he wants nothing more than to win the playoff title today.
Here is Borman. Nearly lost the ball, still has it, and gets it to go. Great movement there from Zane Borman, who had something to say to Trundley afterwards.
Yeah, but that's not the guy you want to talk to, I can promise you that. I promise you that.
Here is Trundley. Trundley putting the moves on Olarerin, creates some space, and knocks it down.
I'm telling you, he's not the guy you want to talk to. You do not want to do that.
And Newcastle have the lead back. 2:10 to play. Ball is out of bounds. Newcastle will get the ball back. Or will they? No, it's going to be a Reading possession.
Yeah, Trundley is, Ron knows all about who to talk to and who not, far better than anyone else in the league. So if he says leave him alone, I would leave him alone.
Here is Portman. And Borgnine will slow it. Horman now under the basket, blocked by Jones. Messiah Jones with the rejection. Here is Trunley. And Jones can't hang on, but that will stay a Newcastle Knights ball. 1:46 to play in the third period. Some of the Newcastle players having something to say to you, Ron, on the commentary box. Here is Trunley putting the moves on Borgnine. Turnaround jumper off the back iron and rebounded by Sally.
And that's a tough shot there. That's good defense there. We're talking a lot about Sam, but got to give credit where credit is due. Great defense to stop there.
Borgnine hangs in the air, and he'll go to the line for a couple. And a little stare down from Borgnine on Trunley as well.
Yeah, it looks like the Red Rockets are out for Sam Trunley, as they should be. It's winner take all. But Sam got a little bit of his own medicine there with the head fake. What a move by Borgnine. I love the patience and the pace.
As Simon Chamberlain comes in, as does Victor Olarerin for the Rockets.
One of the storylines we've not talked about is how quiet offensively Yusuf Sally has been this game. Very, very competent player, very good shooter, mid-range from three. Hurt my team twice this season badly. Hasn't made a shot yet, and has only taken two.
And that's quite an interesting fact you point up. Yusuf Sally, such a deadly mid-range shooter, can create his own space as well. But right now, as Ben said, 0 for 2 from the field.
Yeah, sometimes the nerves get the best of you. This is a big game, but I'm sure when the time comes, he's more than capable of knocking down that shot.
Messiah Jones putting the moves on Chamberlain. Ball is deflected, Olarerin has it. Here comes Borgnine. Ball is still loose, foul is called, and it's on Bradley Dean, and that'll be his third foul.
Yeah, no real trouble right here. I think Newcastle is okay. They're not even in the bonus, so Bradley Dean picking up his third foul with a minute left in the third is decent. It's all right.
Reading in the penalty. No more fouls to give, though, for Newcastle. Here is Borgnine. Final minute of the third period. Borgnine putting the moves on Jones, creates some separation and strings it.
Wow. That is tough. What a shot. As you should, Mr. Borgnine, as you should.
Here is Dean. 3-point lead for the Rockets. Jerron Thames explodes to the basket.
Take by Jerron Thames. Reading got caught out a little bit there by the ghost screen from Trunley. They've been guarding that well up until that point. And Samet calls for them to use the clock.
13 points now for Jerron Thames. As we wind down the third period, Borgnine has a bit of room and is fouled. And that'll put Newcastle in the penalty. As Borgnine nearly landed right on the BCB playoff final trophy there, as Malik Bryant will check in. Victor Olarerin will take a breather.
Who's that foul on, John, if you don't mind me asking?
That foul is on it's on Messiah Jones, yeah. And that'll be his first foul.
I think it's fair to say that player foul trouble hurts Newcastle more than it hurts Reading. But as you said, Ron, I don't think we're at a point where there's enough foul trouble. If Dean picks up his fourth, maybe there's an issue. But outside of that, I think both teams are sitting fairly fine in terms of fouls.
As Borgnine misses the first.
That's a rare miss, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Really good foul shooter for the season, around 80%, as Borgnine heads to the bench and Laquan Sales comes in. Tyne Nasangu also back into the game for the Rockets. By the way, Messiah Jones has a double-double as well, 12 points and 14 rebounds. Final seconds, Trunley falling away. Sam Trunley with 25 points. Olarin smacks the backboard, and we are all tied up going into the fourth quarter at 68 apiece, and it's all to play for here in the fourth quarter. Sam Trunley with 25 points leading the way. Victor Olarin has 23 of his own for Reading.
I'm speechless. I mean, I don't like to continue to harp on what we already are seeing across this platform right now, but I don't think you should talk to Sam Trunley.
And the final game of this BCB season. Of course, we've got an all-star game coming up next Sunday down south in Worthing, but the final game of the regular season, the playoff final, is all tied up, and that is just what we want going into the final 10.
Yeah, and it's as many of the games have been this season, it's a fantastic advert for the quality of basketball that we're seeing. I thought the Birmingham-Newcastle semi, the last 3 minutes, was some of the best basketball I've seen at any level in Britain. And I think we just have a great advertisement for what the BCB can be.
So we're going into the fourth quarter here in Leeds. It's all tied up at 68 apiece. And before we start the fourth quarter, I've got to give a big shout out to Matt Newby and everyone at the City of Leeds Basketball for organising this fantastic final. And you can hear from the atmosphere, it's just been an unforgettable afternoon, hasn't it?
Shout out Money Matt. Love Matt Newby. What a great guy. And what a great event that he's been able to put on here at Leeds. A fantastic venue and no other place that I don't think the game should have been played today.
Fourth quarter is underway. We're all tied up at 68. Dean, Trunley, in and out, rebounded by Creek.
And that's great defense there by Malik Bryant, being able to contest that shot without fouling.
Olarin, Creek. Fortnight on 16 points. Loses the ball. Dean comes up with it. And it's batted out of bounds by Cooper Creek as Jerron Thames was going to go for an easy finish, no doubt about it.
And just to give you an insight a little bit into the coaching matchup right now. Previously, Trunley got threes from overhelp from Reading, so Newcastle came straight out and tried to attack, force that overhelp to get Trunley open in the corner. And Reading's response was to fake and stay home on him as Dean gets an open three here.
And Dean puts in a three! Newcastle Knights with their ninth three-pointer of the contest.
No foul.
And Fortnight stepped out of bounds. Newcastle get the ball back, and they're up by three.
What a great defensive stop there by Bradley Dean. But again, it's early in the fourth quarter, but this is exactly where Newcastle thrived.
Well, Newcastle lost their last two games of the regular season, but bounced back superbly here in the playoffs. And right now, they have the momentum. Here is Trunley, who has the hot hand with 25. Finds Thames. 9 to shoot for Jerron Thames. Puts it up, no good. Rebounded Nasangu.
And another good defensive stop right when it's needed. What a great foul there by Messiah Jones, though.
Foul there by Messiah Jones. That'll be his second foul.
I'm getting excited, John. You got to keep stopping me. Just stop me. Just stop me.
The stakes are as high as they've ever been. The playoff final trophy on the line here in West Yorkshire. Sally spins short, rebounded to Sangu. The Sangu can't get it, the tip is no good by Creek. And here comes Dean. Dean to Thames, hangs, no, rebounding to Sangu.
Being able to defend things like that without fouling, you got to give a lot of credit to Ty right there. That is a big-time stop for Reading.
8th rebound for Ty Nasangu to go with 10 points. Olarin, no. Rebounded by Hendry. 3-point game. Messiah Jones. runs into trouble. Here is Thames, 10 to shoot. Trunley putting the moves on Bryant. Trunley doesn't get the friendly roll. And the ball goes out of bounds, so Reading will get the ball back.
Yeah, and Trunley tried to draw one with the leg out there, and the refs were not having that one, rightly so, I think. But it'll be interesting to see how long Bo Knight stays on the bench right now, with Reading struggling to score. Do they need another option?
Here is Sally. Olarerin bumps and scores. Victor Olarerin now on 25, and a technical foul has been called. It's a technical foul is on Victor Olarerin.
And that's because Vic knocked the ball away after lay up in the first quarter. We've got some high-level referees. They retained that. They made the warning. Knocks it away again. Automatic technical. Whether you like the rule or not, that is the rule.
And Jerron Thames will go to the foul line for the technical foul. Matt Callender, Neil Wilkinson and Ed Udansky are three officials here this afternoon.
I didn't have you much as a rule stickler, Mr. Coach Ben Stanley.
I actually hate that rule along with a couple of others, but I know what the rules are, believe me.
Coach's corner turning ugly here in Leeds. Listen to the fans here. Trunley knocks it down. Sam Trunley from downtown. 5-point lead for Newcastle.
And he's feeling it. I'm feeling it too. I can't sit down. Wow, what a shot.
Youssef Saleh has it. Olarerin on the catch and shoot. Misses everything. There to clean it up was Pullman, but he can't do it. Here is Trunley. Trunley looking for it. Puts it up. And it's off the back iron, and a foul by Mackay Hendry. And you can almost see Will Neighbour telling Sam Trunley to calm down.
Yeah, I think a smarter possession could have been had in that situation. But you're talking about somebody with a hot hand that's shooting currently over 50% from the floor. So he's feeling it. Sometimes you got to live or die with that. But a smarter shot could have been had in that situation. Let's see how Reading responds.
4 3-pointers for Sam Trunley in his 28 points thus far. Bryant nearly lost it. Creek has it but loses it.
And just the scrappiness right now. The scrappiness right now from Newcastle on the defensive end. Reading obviously trying to do what they do best, which is go inside and oppose their will. But Newcastle is fighting for their life right now.
I think Reading need to be a little smarter in the matchups they're attacking right now. They've been good at it earlier in the game, but right now they're attacking Jerron Thames, who's one of the better on-ball defenders that Newcastle have.
6:25 to play.
Never seen Mark yell so loud in my life.
Well, it's a final. The emotions running high for both teams. Knights have a 5-point lead. 6:23 to play. Here is Trunley. Trunley looks for Hendry. 9 to shoot. Trunley a 3. No. Rebound Creek. And away come the Rockets with Olarerin. Right in the open floor. Blocked by Jones. Ball is loose. Borgnine has it. And Borgnine will go to the line. Newcastle fans can't believe it. And the once mild-mannered Mark Elderkin now getting a speaking to from the officials. That foul on Jerron Thames, and that'll be only his first foul of the contest, third team foul for the Knights.
Yeah, not a fantastic foul, not a great foul there from Jerron Thames, but at the end of the day, you want to keep your composure. You don't want to get too absorbed with the referee's call, as a technical foul has already been called tonight.
Jax Borknight makes the first foul shot. First foul, as said, on Gerontains. As Borknight makes them both. Borknight and Olarerin, the only two Reading players that have started all 28 games this season. Messiah Jones dancing off the back iron with his mid-range. Horman. Olarerin. And Olarerin will come out. Olarerin can't find Creek. And the ball goes out of bounds. 9th turnover of this game for Reading.
Yeah, 9 turnovers isn't bad as a team. But the time and the clock and the magnitude of this game, that is a big turnover. Well, loads and loads of time still left to be played here in this basketball game. Reading just got to take control, calm down a little bit, and they'll be all right.
Here is Trunley. Absolutely incredible noise here in Leeds. Trunley falling away, and Trunley now has 30 points.
He's hurt.
He's also hurt. Yeah, he's hit the deck hard and he's holding his ankle. He landed awkwardly on that shot. He now moves on to 30 points, but he's not in a good way there.
No, and not something you like to see. Players are escorting him off. Looks like it's maybe an ankle. He's hobbling pretty badly. Hopefully he'll be all right. Incredible performance so far. Hopefully we get to see more of him.
30 points on 11 of 22 shooting, but certainly not how he's wanting this game for him possibly to end. He's now being lifted up by Messiah Jones and Mackay Hendry as the Newcastle Knights trainer there will go and check up on him, but that didn't look very good, did it?
It didn't look very good. It's unfortunate right now for Newcastle to have to deal with that. As Vic is giving me the stares, Vic is saying it's his time. But yeah, back to the situation at hand. He's had a fantastic game. As you take another look here on the replay, Malik Bryan has done a fantastic job guarding, but what a tough shot there by Sam Trunley, and just fell on the ankle a little bit, I think. But if I know Sam's not gonna not play the rest of this game. I can promise you.
Still 5 minutes to go, and a lot of time for Sam Trunley to possibly make a reappearance. We'll see. Here is Creek. Quick release three. No. Rebounded Bryant. Borknight, good close down there from Jones with 8 on the shot clock. And Borknight is fouled by Messiah Jones. And that'll be Messiah Jones's 3rd foul of the contest. Reading out-rebounding Newcastle on the offensive glass now, 50-12. It's been fairly even until this 4th quarter, just as you expect from the top 2 offensive rebounding teams in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams crashing the glass very aggressively, and it'll make a big impact here if Reading continue to get some separation on that.
Here is Creek. Foreman. Borknight, a long three. No. Foreman there for the rebound.
That's a fantastic rebound.
As Olarerin can't get it, ball is loose. As Messiah Jones was fighting for it. And that'll be another foul on Foreman. That's 4 fouls now on Zane Foreman, and that, with 4:17 to play, could be quite big.
Yeah, I think Foreman's a little unlucky to pick that one up. Thought that might have been on thing. It'll be interesting. Does Samit go with him and trust him? Or do they go to maybe bring the Sangers back in, have a bigger target for the pick and roll? We'll see.
Messiah Jones, 12 points, 16 rebounds, a Herculean performance from here today. We spoke about Sam Trunley, but Messiah Jones has been absolutely immense, hasn't he?
He has been amazing this entire afternoon, and Ben's talked about that earlier. just his usage rate and what they do with him is so valuable to this team. He does all the little things. 16 rebounds is something special.
Well, it's actually 17 rebounds, actually. We miscounted. My apologies. As Bryant gets the steal, but he's blocked. The block there from Matt Matthews. Max Matthews coming from the weak side with the rejection.
Yeah, huge play from Max Matthews, and he's not been in the rotation. Making big plays when he needs to, and he's a high-energy guy, doesn't give up, keeps playing hard.
Averages around 6 points a game. 33% three-point shooter for the season, and a really valuable asset off the bench. As you say, Ben doesn't get many minutes, but he's really making an impact here today as Dean fires and Hendry collects the offensive board. And that's batted out of bounds by Bortnight. Well, I thought was a Newcastle ball. It is a Newcastle ball. Referees just accidentally said that was a Reading possession, but Newcastle do have it. Here is Jones. Jones to the basket, no. 3:50 to play. Olarari. Creek is wide open, a three. He can't get in the fall. On the follow line was Foreman. 3-point game.
And Newcastle a little lucky. They've given up that pick and pop to Cooper Creek 4 or 5 times so far this time. He's yet to hit one, but we know he can make them.
And a foul is called. And that'll be 2 shots at the foul line. Now Reading in the penalty, and Newcastle have no more fouls to give with 3:26 to play.
Yeah, I mean, this game is literally coming down to the wire. It's exactly what a playoff final should be like. I'm super excited to see how this game ends. But big free throws here from Mr. Dean.
Bradley Dean strokes the first, and Newcastle have a 4-point lead. Some nerves creeping in from the Reading supporters here in Leeds as Bradley Dean at the line. Colder than a grandmother's kiss as he makes them both. 5-point lead for Newcastle, their joint biggest lead of the game. Fortnight hangs, no, rebounded Thames. 7th rebound for the player of the year. And good stand there from Corman. Matthews a three, yes! Max Matthews from downtown, timeout Reading!
And Max Matthews stepping up when it matters, and we've seen this from the Newcastle team over the last couple of weeks. Last week it was Rob Reed and it was Hendry. Now Max Matthews steps up and hits a huge shot with 3 minutes to go.
Max Matthews with a big-time three, and Newcastle now have their biggest lead of the game.
What a fantastic shot by Max! Wow!
A big-time shot in one of the biggest games of the season. Max Matthews standing up, and the Newcastle fans erupt. The Leeds Beckett Arena is coming unglued here. What a game on the BCB YouTube channel. We wish you could all be here to experience this. It's incredible. What have Reading got in the locker? A huge period for the Aldermore Reading Rockets, one that could define their entire season. Creek has it. Horman. and he'll go to the line for a couple.
Jones goes down, holding his wrist, I believe. Took a hard hit on the finish. He's now getting up, he looks all right there.
It's tougher than a 2-pound steak as he will go to the foul line for the Knights. Listen to the Newcastle fans. It is deafening in Leeds. Messiah Jones at the line. Big free throws. Misses the first.
We're going to have to see something here from Reading in order to redress this. I would expect a full court press after a score. I'm not quite sure what they need to run. They've not been able to get any looks out of their regular offense.
But Reading are in the penalty at the moment as well, so a full court press. Yeah, as a coach yourself, could that be too risky?
I mean, yes, it could be. I think Reading need to get to the foul line. They need to stop the clock, make some easy ones at the foul line, try and get themselves going in that way. But it looks like there was an unsportsmanlike call because you kept that back.
Here is Dean. Matthews again. No. Ball is loose. Nasangu now with a double-double, but he steals the ball. He loses it. And Newcastle come on with it. And Borgnine has to foul. 2:22 to play, and Newcastle will go back to the line.
And that's not a smart foul there by Jax. Obviously, he didn't want them to score, but they're at a bonus right now, which is allowing Newcastle to basically run this score up a little bit with no time wasted on the clock.
I wonder if this is that Reading have been known in past years for the early foul tactic. I wonder if we might see Messiah Jones fouled instantly every possession as we go through now.
That's a great point.
But you've got to make your free throws as Dean misses the first. Only Newcastle's third miss from the foul line here this afternoon. Makes the second. And it's a double-digit lead in one of the most crucial periods of the season. Bryant loses it. Thames has it. Thames, no! Rebounded Olorarian. Olorarian to the basket. Blocked by Messiah Jones. Messiah Jones with a huge rejection. That even gets Ron Blaine out of his seat.
I'm sorry, you guys haven't heard much of me in this fourth quarter because I'm fascinated with the basketball play right now of both of these teams.
The physicality is absolutely off the charts. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, and Messiah Jones is really stepping up here, making plays at the defensive end right now.
I know it's a bit early, not to cut you off, you two. I'm sorry, John. I'm not sticking to the script right now. I'm just enjoying my time. I know it's a bit early, but Messiah Jones is having an MVP type of performance this afternoon.
13 points, 18 rebounds. That was his third block of the game. Here is Borgnine. And Borgnine is fouled, so now Reading will get foul shots. Newcastle in the penalty.
Yeah, when you're in this kind of situation with under 3 minutes on the clock, 8 to 12 point game, threes and fouls are what will get you back into the game. If you can get to the foul line and stop that clock and get points while the clock isn't moving, it's massive. Reading also need to look after the ball. They've had 3 massive turnovers in the last minute 30 or so. If they can't keep possession of the ball, it's going to be very hard to get back in this game.
It's a single-digit game. Borgnine cans them both. And there's the press like you were talking about, Ben. Reading going for broke. And they get the steal. Well, they don't. Malik Bryant. Yeah, that'll be foul shots as Jerron Thames, only his second foul of the game, but Reading will go back to the line.
And if you're a Reading Rockets fan, that's exactly what you want right now. You want one of your guys going to the free throw line to knock down 2 free throws with no time exasperating off that clock.
And not only that, Ron, it gives you a chance to set up your press. It gives you a chance to get in position and put pressure on the inbound.
Malik Bryant at the line, one of the most consistent players in the BCB this season, just under 55% from the field. Makes them both. Newcastle can't see glory just yet. And a turnover, well, nearly a turnover. It will stay with the Knights.
I'll tell you what, the pressure is looking like it's getting to Newcastle a little bit, which is exactly why Mark Elderkin calls that timeout.
A wise timeout from Mark Elderkin. And right now, this is a real test of his coaching credibility. He's led Newcastle to the runners-up spot, and now they are 1 minute and 46 seconds away from playoff glory and potentially a second trophy in his 7th year as a director of basketball at Newcastle University.
And I don't think it's just a FYI, not to say anything bad, but I don't think his credibility should ever be questioned. Not in the bad way, obviously, Don. I love what you do. But Mark is a heck of a coach. His X's and O's are probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. Shout out my coach as well. But if not the best in the league. And he's doing a fantastic job, as he has done all season. And however, this isn't his first appearance in the final.
No.
We've been there many times.
We have, yeah.
This might be his first win, though, and if he's able to get the job done.
The question right now, you can see here, Reading almost setting up to double team Bradley Dean. Can Newcastle get the ball in their point guard's hands?
1:46 left. Dean. Matthews, who's been a great factor in this fourth quarter, but he loses the ball. Olaire in a long three, no. Who has it? Messiah Jones has it, and the possession arrow will go to Reading. 1:25 to play. Mark Elderkin calls for calm and not to foul. Samet Nurizadeh also calling for calm. It's a 6-point game. And that'll be a foot violation, so Reading will get the ball back. Well, we certainly hope you're enjoying this on the BCB YouTube channel. How's your heart rate wherever you are in the country? A minute and 25 left. Borknight, a three, no. Rebounded Jones, who else? Messiah Jones, rebound number 19.
I think Reading may be settled there, both in transition with Vic and then from Bonite. If you can go and get a foul with 1:24 on the clock and shoot 2 more free throws, you're in a great position.
And that's 5 fouls, unfortunately, for Victor Olaire. What a fantastic performance he's put in tonight. Obviously, putting in a scoring tally, finished with
25 points and 8 rebounds. A good showing from Victor Olaire, in 13 of those points coming in the first quarter. Hampered a little bit by foul trouble. The British Player of the Year. Misses the first. 14 points, 19 rebounds here this afternoon. flashes the second. Samet Nurizadeh calls time. 1 minute and 13 to play. Still all to play for. So just need to hold their nerve. But for Reading, even though the game is still in reach, they need to get quick buckets.
They do need to get quick buckets, but they got to be smart and calculated. Obviously, losing your leading scorer in this basketball game is not easy at this stage of the game. But somebody has to put the ball in the basket for Reading in order for them to continue to try to win this game.
And Ben, this has been an incredible advert for what has been an incredible season. Of course, you leading the Milton Keynes Breakers to 4th place. It's been just an incredible season, not just for you, but for the entire BCB. And what an ending we have here.
Yeah, I think the product on the court has kind of spoken for itself this year. We've had some incredible games of basketball. I think it bodes very well for what the league can be moving forward. And I think, as you say, we have a fantastic example of that in front of us right now.
Of course, this venue hosted a BCB game in March between the Dragons and the Trailblazers. And the noise was deafening, just like it is here. Here is Borknight. Sally into the game. Borknight has it.
Great defense there by Max. Great defense.
Incredible defense along the perimeter. 1 minute and 2 to play. Every second that ticks down favours Newcastle. Creek can't get it to fall. 20 rebounds for Jones. And he'll go to the line for a couple. 56 seconds to play. And potentially a 9-point lead for Newcastle, providing Jones hits both of these free throws.
Messiah Jones' stat line for this game is incredible. 15 points, 20 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals and 3 blocks. I think the MVP call you made earlier on, I think you were absolutely right.
And an index rating of 34 as well for Messiah Jones. 25 for Trunley, who is still on the physio's bench, but he has certainly stepped up in the absence of Trunley at both ends of the floor.
Just to correct you, sorry again, I know I don't like correcting you because you're the GOAT, but 30 for Trunley.
Yeah, 30, yeah.
30. But Messiah has been the difference maker in this basketball game.
Index rating, though, was 25.
You're right, John. You're always right.
As Bryant goes to the basket and a foul, Bryant not giving it up.
And this game is long from finished. It's only a 2-possession basketball game, and in basketball, that is ages.
A lot of time, no doubt about it. And Reading will not give this one up. Malik Bryant makes the extra. 5-point game, 46 seconds to play. Matthews. And Max Matthews will go to the line. And that is 5 fouls on Zane Porman. So Victor Oloraren and Zane Porman both fouled out. Matthews can't make the first. Still hope for the Reading Rockets. Newcastle now 17 of 23 from the foul line, but he makes the second. As a steal! Newcastle have it home and won. Dio Riley puts the exclamation point, and Newcastle are all but there now.
Yeah, what a play by Theo Riley. Gets the turnover, goes strong to the cup. Big finish from that young man. And if Newcastle can get one in the trophy.
29 seconds left in the fourth. He misses the foul shot. It's an 8-point advantage. Bryant turns, scores. Reading will play to the final buzzer. Newcastle keep the ball. That might just seal the playoff title. Reading, though, with a full-court press. And that'll go right out of bounds, and Reading will get the ball at the other side.
That's not a smart play there, Mark. Looking at Messiah, asking him, what is he doing? You do not want to give the basketball away in that situation underneath your own baseline as well, your opposition's baseline, excuse me. A three-pointer here changes things, John and Ben.
Well, Sally is fouled. No, he's not. He steps out of bounds.
Travel.
It looked like he stepped out of bounds, but you were right, Ron. It was a travelling violation. Timeout has been called with 18.6 on the clock.
And Coach Salmon is not happy with that turnover. He is furious with his guys right now, as he should be because of the implications of that turnover.
And has that turnover just cost them the playoff title? And has the playoff title now gone to Tyneside?
Wow. I'm speechless. I've been speechless this whole second half. Sorry for going rogue, guys, and silent, but
it's been an unbelievable game, an incredible advert for the BCB. But Newcastle now 18.6 seconds away from glory. As Newcastle get the ball. 18.6 left. Bradley Dean is fouled. He'll go to the foul line. And really just one of these free throws will all but certainly do it.
Yeah, with no timeouts left, it's going to be very difficult for Reading to get back into this unless Bradley Dean uncharacteristically misses both of these.
As Sam Trumley looking on from the physio table, his parents there watching on right by him as Bradley Dean hits the first. Nails them both. Bryant doesn't get it to fall. Reading now consigned to defeat, and the Newcastle Knights are your 2025-26 playoff champions. There's still 6/10 of a second left, and now it's over. The Newcastle Knights are the BCB playoff champions. A 93-83 epic over the Aldermore Reading Rockets.
What a game. I'm emotional.
It's been an unbelievable game to end what has been an unbelievable season. Congratulations to Newcastle. 3 different winners this season. That's another great statistic to have. But what a moment for Mark Elderkin's team.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Ron alluded to earlier, this Newcastle programme has been in so many finals in the last few years, has been building and building. And Mark does such a fantastic job. There's so much on him to run that programme. And this season's been a great reward for them. And this moment is absolute justification for all the hard work that they and Mark have put in.
Sam Trunley with 30 points, 4 3-pointers. Messiah Jones an 18-point, 20-rebound, double-double. But it's been a team effort, there's no doubt about that.
The entire course of the season, this team has performed and performed time after time after time. And being a former Newcastle guy myself, I'm lost for words. I'm so happy for Mark. You guys don't even understand the journey that he's been through in order to get this program to where it is. And it's so well deserved. I'm so happy for him.
And the 8th 40-minute performance for Jerron Thames, who had 14 points, 7 rebounds and 3 steals. An MVP-esque performance, no doubt, from him. For the Reading Rockets, runners-up in the playoffs, they do have a league title that will stay in Berkshire. Victor Olorarian with 25 points and 8 rebounds. Jack Sportnight had 20.
So good for the league as well.
Yeah.
So good for the league.
As mentioned, 3 different winners. Of course, you, Ron, a BCB trophy winner with the City of Birmingham Rockets. Reading Rockets winning the league, and now a playoff title for Newcastle.
Yeah, and again, throughout the course of this year, it's probably been the most competitive league we've honestly had. Every team, you got to give credit to every team in this league. They did a fantastic job all season. But today's shine and today's show is for Newcastle, and they deserve all the credit in the world for winning that title.
Well, in just a moment, we'll come to mid-court.
Mr. Paul, CEO of the Beach Knowledge Foundation, Mr. Wesley Bell, Chair of the League, and Paul Rennie for the coach. Give them all a nice round of applause, please. Come on.
As the BCB season now winds to a close, of course, next Sunday we have the BCB All-Star Game to properly wrap things off on the South Coast in Worthing.
Sorry to cut you off again, John. Did we get a medal?
You got a medal in March. As the Newcastle Knights still celebrating Reading Rockets. For the Reading Rockets, though, Ben, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. This was an incredible game of basketball. Newcastle Knights just wanted it more, but for Reading, you know, league winners. I mean, it's been a great season for them, a 22-4 record, and this actually brings a close to 8 straight victories that they had.
Yeah, obviously Reading, a fantastic programme, done a lot in this league over many, many years, and while this will hurt and, you know, they'll go away and reflect on where they made the mistakes, it's certainly not a, you know, it's just been a strong campaign for them. Anytime you walk away with a league, it says a lot about your programme and what you've done. So, reflect on it and they'll take away the victories from this season as well.
As our 3 officials, Matt Callender, Ed Udansky and Neil Wilkinson, collect their medals. A really good job as well today by the 3 officials. They get a lot of stick preferably from players. I'm not mentioning you, Ron, obviously, but they've done a fantastic job.
Yo, shout out to all the refs in the league, mate. I love you guys all. I love all of you guys. When I see you next season. Especially the good ones.
As the Aldermore Reading Rockets will now collect their runners-up medals. As said, a fantastic season for Samit Nurizade's side. And incredible support throughout by the Rockets fans who have made the long journey from Berkshire to be here today.
I tell you what, John and Ben, there's going to be a party in Newcastle tonight.
It's a bank holiday weekend. They've got every right to celebrate, haven't they?
I think that party might start on the bus before they get to Newcastle somehow, Ron.
Guess you got a free bus ride. There's not a party if I'm not there. Shout out my team. I love you guys.
Oh, dear. That's Samit Nurizade, who, of course, was an assistant coach to Matt Newby here in Leeds over a decade ago. Leads the Reading Rockets to a runners-up spot here today in the playoffs, of course. A league title in their hands already. And now the Newcastle Knights will collect their winners' medals. Mark Elderkin leading his team to glory here in Leeds today. As they will get their winners' medals. Sam Trunley there, limping his way to a winner's medal. What an effort from him today. 30 points, a game high.
I have no words. I'm happy.
Of course, a former Newcastle player yourself, Ron. You've got to be so happy with this, haven't you?
I mean, I'm not that happy because I wish I won one. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'd rather lose to the champion. So I'm all right with going down to the champ. But regardless of that, it's not about me. It's their moment. I want them to enjoy it. And more importantly, I'm just happy for the program. Again, I was at the start. I was there from the beginning. I've seen how much that guy right there running across, I've seen how much time and effort, and people don't know what goes on behind the scene and all the logistics that he has to take care of. And he's somebody that I'm forever grateful for and so happy that he's in my corner at all times, and I just couldn't be happier. I'm happy for his whole team.
And Sam Trunley will collect the finals MVP. On one leg, a warrior, Sam Trunley, MVP on one leg as well.
I'll say this. If you tune into the Bucks final this season, he's one of those guys that could have easily won that Bucks final MVP as well if you watched that game. And he carried this team throughout the course of the season. But he didn't get it because Jerron got it, as he should. Well deserved from him. But Sam... Sorry, I'm talking too much.
And now there's one trophy left to collect. As Scott Angus, the captain, will collect the trophy. The Newcastle Knights are the BCB playoff winners. History is made here in Leeds. And the celebrations can begin. The champagne flowing here in Yorkshire. Oh, it's going to be a party tonight on Tyneside. Mark Elderkin there, getting drowned in champagne. He's earned it.
He's definitely earned it. And all these guys, again, what a fantastic season. I cannot wait for next season. It was the league is growing, the game is growing, and I'm so appreciative just to be a part of it.
Just a final word on you, Ben, on what has been an incredible playoff final here in Leeds.
Yeah, what a fantastic advert for the BCB and British basketball in general. And Newcastle should be incredibly proud of their performance and enjoy themselves.
And that wraps up our coverage of the BCB playoff final. Newcastle Knights are your first ever BCB playoff winners. Congratulations to them. Commiserations to the Aldermore Reading Rockets, who claim a league title. The City of Birmingham Rockets claim the BCB trophy. The All-Star game will bring a close to the BCB season next Sunday. Join us on the BCB YouTube channel for that. But my thanks to Ben Stanley, to Ron Blaine. I'm John Hobbs. Goodbye, everybody, wherever you are across the country, here from Leeds.